Lately I've been seeing a lot of posts about how Silver Rathalos is supposedly the worst monster in the entire game and how he's really hard, and I don't get it because this guy is really easy and simple. Rather than make fun of everyone for not getting how to fight him, I'm here to show you some solutions. But first of all, why Silver Rathalos? Well, to begin, his armor is just really good. It comes with weakness exploit and crit boost, both of the best skills in the game, and Challenger, which is another good skill. The full gunner armor can be used with a Pierce Up 6 triple slot for the Silverwind lightbow gun, which is its best set, or it can simply be used with a Pierce 4 for Orcus or Pierce 5 with the Aura. And basically the set comes with weakness exploit, crit boost, Challenger 1, and you can just add Pierce Up and Shot Booster to the set, and you have a really solid gunner set, just immediately out of G4. For Blade Masters, you'd rather want the Silos Gore mix, which replaces the helm with a cap and the waist with the Gore XR waist. This set gives you 5 slots after you fix the weakness exploit and crit boost, and weakness exploit, crit boost, Challenger 2. It can basically serve as a really good template set. You basically just add whatever you still can with the weapon slots, charm and charm slots to it, and it has a lot of useful combinations. It often shows up in an armor searcher, and you can just use it as a template to just swap skills out if you need. There's also the Rathalos XR waist, which gives crit boost plus 8, and it also shows up in a lot of mixed sets. So this monster basically is a very desirable monster to hunt for armor sets, so you might want to do that right out of G4. Unfortunately, a lot of people seem to struggle against this guy and would rather hunt something different, but I still think he's easily one of the best targets to go for immediately, because this armor is really good and also he's not that hard to fight. And I'm gonna show you how. So first of all, what you're gonna need, or rather what strat I'm gonna show, is how to hunt him with a greatsword. Basically, what I'm using is just the Neptar. It's just the Atalkar greatsword. There are better ways to hunt him. There are stronger ones, but they need handicraft, and you might not have it at this point, because you need to hunt Savage Joe and Hyper Devil Joe for these armor pieces. And I think this monster's even harder than Silos, so I would rather do it the other way around. So for this strat, I'm basically assuming you either have the Black X armor set, or you have just a full Nay set, and the only skills you're really gonna need are Focus, Crit Draw, and Crit Boost. I also use Punish Draw, which is pretty good for the Hyper Silos specifically, and useless on the regular one. If your charm allows it, or you have the Black X, you also like to have Quick Sheath, but it's not really necessary, it's just nice to have. And mine also has Sheath Sharpen on it, but it doesn't really do much. You can just use Readiness if you want to. There are several ways to go about it, but I think the full Nay set is the easiest one, because you also need the gem for the Neptar to max it out, and then you basically can already make the armor if you just farm a bunch of barks. If you already have an endgame set, the Thresh Schneider or the Bone Splitter are both better than the Neptar for this, but like I said, they're not strictly needed and you need handicraft, but if you have the set, just go for it. And lastly, you're gonna need Valor style and either bring Absolute Readiness or Evasion, whichever one fits your playstyle better. What you're also gonna need is very good item prep. What I'm bringing is all the combo books, flashbombs, flash combines, Kelby Horns and Immunizer, Power Charm, Power Talon, Armor Charm, Armor Talon, and a Pitfall. You can use the remaining slots for whatever you like, but I like to bring more traps, more trap combines, and Mega Dash shoes and Psycho Serum. You can also use the Provision Division for extra flash bombs, even though they are not exactly needed, but if you miss too many, they are nice to have. I also do not recommend to bring any Palicos whatsoever, because they distract him and they will cause you to miss flashes sometimes. But if you insist, you should give them a para weapon, both of the traps, and a flash bomb. For this video I have prepared 3 demo hunts, one for the regular Silos, one for the Hyper Silos, and one for specifically the Tragedy in Silver and Gold Silos, because those are the relevant endgame monsters, and you're probably gonna be fighting those. For the regular Silos, all you need to do is flash him out of the air. You can use the Enrage Roar opening for a very consistent opening, or just run around and wait until he's in the air to dunk him. Once he's down, you charge at the wing, then do the strong swipe, and you wait for this recovery animation he does when he recovers from a flash, and then you charge at him from the side. This will, depending on the size and when you do it, hit either the wing or the leg. If it hits the leg, he topples sometimes, which is also nice and gives you an additional opening. If you are not in Valor, you can just unsheath bonk him, then do the Valor stance and do the level 3 charge at the wing. It will generally give you enough time to do that. For the first 3 flashes, he takes a lot longer to recover from it, so you can fill that time by either placing the pitfall or just unsheath bonk him a bunch of times to get into Valor. You can also try going for a mount, which gives you good opening on the other wing and also some break damage on the back. The reason why you want to break both wings and the back is because the back gives another Fire Gleam dollop chance and the wings and the back give the sub quest here. The back is also his best hit zone, so using the pitfall for that is very nice for damage. If you don't place the pitfall immediately after the first flash, you can also just do it whenever he changes areas. You will generally have enough time to place it immediately. It's also a good opportunity to refill your Valor if you need it, and you will get the break from just 2 or 3 level 3 charges on the back. If you just follow the script, you will only need like 12 flashes and you get subquests as well. And here's a demo hunt just to show what it looks like in practice. You can see me make a lot of mistakes, including missing a bunch of flashes, and I still managed to kill him only off of flash damage and the pitfall. Whenever he's not enraged, you can try to force him to enrage again. This will allow for an easy flash dunk. I failed here, so I gave up and headed to the other area. I would also not recommend doing this against the Hyper Silos because it's much more difficult. Memorizing this spot also saves you a lot of trouble. You also don't need to bother with flash dunks after the pitfall. And here's the reason I brought the Immonizer and Kelby Horns. Ancient Potions provide way better value than Mega Potions, and you can trade the combines. Bringing them is good practice in general, but it's especially convenient here. We are already bringing the combo books and opening the combine menu a lot, thanks to the flashes, so it doesn't hurt to have those too. And there you have it. Easy 10 minutes quest with just flashbombs and a bit. Along with backbreak and side quest. As for his hyper version, you would rather go for the head. Reason for that is that basically his hit zone gets way better when it's hypered up, and since it's always hypered up, it's just better damage for you. This also means we can benefit from Punish Draw, and it also builds towards the subquest, which is the tail and the head break, but I will not go for it here. It's not really worth it because you only get the generic shared hyper materials and not specifically the ones you want. And also it's gonna make your hunt a lot harder, and the hyper version is already the harder one because you just don't get the non-enraged openings that you get from the regular one. And he cannot be exhausted, which you will experience at least once with the regular one. He's also generally just much more aggressive, so you can't really work in a lot of regular openings for him in general, and you have to work a lot more with flashes. As a side note, I used bombs here to break the head, but it really isn't necessary and you're better off just hitting him. You can use the remaining item slots for something more useful, like more pitfalls. And finally, the tragedy one. This one has less HP, so it's easier to kill, but unfortunately, whenever he enrages, he calls the Gold Rathian, and since she's gonna bother us a lot, we're gonna bring dung bombs and also eat for Feline Dung Master. The food skill is extremely important here, so do not even start the quest without it. Aside from that, it is literally just repeating the same thing, except you're gonna have to pay attention to the Gold Rathian. I use paints to just mark her, so I always know in advance when she's gonna come over, and you should do that too. Since this Hypersilos has a lot less HP than the regular one, you can afford to waste a bunch of flashes. You do not need to use all of them to kill them, and you can just use them defensively if you're having troubles just getting rid of the Gold Rathian. Other than that, it's really just more of the same. Just flash dunk him, then charge at the head, do the strong swipe, and then charge at the head again when he recovers. After you've killed him, you just hunt the Gold Rathian normally. I know she's also a pain in the ass, but this is about Silos this time. You will do fine against her, trust me. Just do your best and try to not triple card. Whenever Gold Rathian comes over, drop absolutely everything you're doing and dung her away. This is by far the most important thing in this quest. And yeah, that's about it. Just stick to the script and you should be able to hunt all of those pretty comfortably.